You know, I always thought after 20 years as a K9 handler for the Metro PD, chasing down traffickers and running ops in the grime of the city, that I'd earned my piece, that quiet little slice of the American dream, where the biggest drama was a burnt casserole. But what I got instead was my own worst nightmare, a HOA president who decided that dream needed to be ripped apart at 3:17 a.m., with a kick that splintered my front door and sent my dogs into attack mode. And trust me, you do not want to see my dogs in attack mode. It started subtle, like most slow-burn tyrannies do. We bought this ranch house in Beechwood Creek, a neighborhood that looked like it was pulled straight from a magazine. Manicured, perfect, and utterly, unnervingly beige. My wife, Sarah, and I moved in with our 2 retired German shepherds, Kaiser and Ziva, littermates, 100 pounds of titanium loyalty apiece. They were my partners, my best friends, my family. For 6 months, it was heaven. Then we met Vivian Thorne, the HOA president. She was all polished smiles and pastel cardigans, the kind of woman who brought you homemade lemon bars and a 10-page laminated rulebook. She was the queen bee, the sweetly smiling autocrat who organized the block parties and dictated the exact shade of gray for our driveway sealant. We laughed it off, calling her the Beige Baroness. My first real run-in was over my workshop. I'm a builder by hobby, and I started staining the exterior a deep, pleasant redwood color, something to break up all the gray. 2 days later, there was a notice. $150 fine. Not an approved tone. I tried to reason with her, hoping for that small-town neighborly forgiveness. I got a 5-minute lecture on aesthetic synergy, and a stare that was colder than any perp I'd ever booked. I paid the fine and I painted the workshop beige, but that stare, that flick of pure, unadulterated coldness, it stayed with me. Then, the rules got personal. The Millers down the street had their son's treehouse cited as an unauthorized vertical structure. Old Mr. Jenkins, who had a small patriotic flag garden, cited for excessive decorative elements. She was dismantling the neighborhood piece by petty piece, but no one fought back. She saw a target in me. She saw Kaiser and Ziva, and she started whispering. Total lies. But fear is a faster virus than the truth. She pushed through an emergency covenant amendment via email, banning all high-risk or combat-related breeds. It was never about community safety. It was about taking my family. The silence at 3:17 a.m. wasn't a restful silence. It was a pressurized vacuum. I was instantly awake. My hand found the mag light. 20 years of training makes you reach for the familiar weight. Then I heard it, a low, controlled rumble vibrating up from the floorboards. Kaiser and Ziva weren't barking. They were alerting their handlers, me, that the threat was active. I slipped out of bed, told Sarah to lock the door behind me, and moved downstairs. I heard the scraping. Someone was trying to pick the lock clumsily. Then came the unmistakable snap of metal breaking inside the mechanism, followed by a moment of silence, and then, bang! A kick. The door shuddered. Quiet, I commanded them, low and firm. Another kick, harder, and the wood around the deadbolt splintered. The door flew inward, slamming against the wall. And there she was, Vivian Thorne, all 5'4" of her, dressed in a sleek black sweatsuit, holding a heavy-duty flashlight like a weapon. She didn't see me initially. Her beam landed squarely on Kaiser and Ziva, poised and silent. There they are, she hissed. Shadow guard, secure the assets. 2 enormous figures in dark tactical uniforms and ski masks pushed past her, armed with thick catch poles and nets. I stepped into the light, my voice deadly level. Vivian, what in God's name do you think you're doing? She flinched but recovered, instantly shoving a crumpled paper at me. Marcus Reed, you are in violation of Beechwood Covenant 14B. These animals are to be surrendered immediately for relocation. I planted my bare feet on the cold tile. You are not taking my dogs. She gave me that smug, pinched smile. Oh, I think I am, Marcus, and there is absolutely nothing you can do to stop me. She nodded to her men. One lunged with the catchpole. Kaiser, watch, I barked. Kaiser moved like a black and tan blur, his jaws clamped down on the aluminum pole with a sound like a giant soda can being crushed. The goon froze. While the attention was on Kaiser, I took the stairs in 2 bounds, hitting the second goon with a sharp, open palm strike to the side of the head. A disorienting blow. Ziva! Door! Ziva zipped past me, planting herself silently in the shattered doorway. A living barrier. It was over in 5 seconds. Vivian's smug confidence evaporated, replaced by fury. "This is assault," she shrieked. "I'm calling the police." I picked up my phone. "Go ahead, Vivian. I'd love to explain to the officers why the HOA president committed felony breaking and entering at 3 a.m. I nudged the bent catchpole with my foot. Her face went white. She scrambled out, but she turned back, her eyes burning with malice. "This isn't over, Reed," she hissed. "I'll have those dogs put down. I'll ruin you. I'll own you." Then she was gone. The adrenaline dropped, leaving a cold, hard knot in my stomach. This was a vendetta. The next day, she taped a $300 daily fine to my repaired door and started her propaganda. I called my buddy, Elias Echo Vance, a technical surveillance expert. He arrived 2 hours later. He confirmed the video was fake but effective. "Marcus, normal HOA tyrants send nasty letters. They don't go full-on tactical raid at 3 a.m. This is high-risk personal behavior. There's something else going on." Sarah mentioned the Millers, how Vivian had put a predatory lien on their house over a tiny flag garden. "This isn't just power," Sarah said. "It's cruel." "Okay," Elias said. "Phase 1, Fortress Beechwood. High-res, night vision cameras on every inch." I brought in Ben Coe, our CPA neighbor who Vivian had stonewalled. Elias hacked the flimsy HOA server and sent Ben the data dump. The real break came late one night. Elias stared at his monitor. I followed the money trail from Shadowguard Solutions. "Marcus, you need to see this." On his screen was a record of regular deposits into the commissary account of a federal prisoner, Dominic the Duke Marino. My blood ran cold. Marino, AEA, vicious arms trafficker I had personally helped put away a decade ago. He had mouthed 2 words to me in the courtroom. "I'll remember." Elias found the connection. Marino's only living relative was his sister, who had legally changed her surname to Vivian Thorne. Everything snapped into terrifying focus. It was a revenge plot. She had spent years building a suburban kingdom, making herself the law, all to isolate me and destroy what I loved. But it was worse than revenge. Shadow Guard, with its talk of asset relocation, was a professional dog-napping ring. She was using the HOA as cover to seize trained dogs and sell them on the black market. "We're not going to be victims," I told Sarah and Elias. "We're going to beat her at her own game. We're going to make her walk right into a trap so perfect, so airtight, that the whole world sees her true face." Our plan had 3 fronts. Binco dove deeper into the financials. Elias located the holding facility, a closed-down commercial kennel called the Pristine Pooch. That night, Elias launched his micro-drone. We were monitoring the live feed from my car. The thermal camera was undeniable. Dozens of kennels filled with the heat signatures of working dogs. I saw the distinct scar over the eye of Kilo, the state police dog who went missing. We were looking at a treasure trove of stolen K9 heroes. Vivian Thorne then stepped out of a white van, directing her goons as they loaded crated dogs. I had her. My thumb hovered over the 911 button, the clean legal bust, but my burner phone buzzed with an incoming message from the anonymous source. It was a picture of an official county order for the seizure and euthanasia of Kaiser and Ziva. It was signed by a judge, based on a falsified vet report, and dated for the next morning. My blood turned to ice. She was willing to sacrifice her entire dog-napping business as long as the kill order, which was already in the system, was executed. Any move we made now would expose our hand, and by the time we untangled the mess, Kaiser and Ziva would be dead. "Don't call the police," I rasped into the comms. "Elias, pull the drone back. Clean up. She's 1 step ahead of us. She just put kill order on Kaiser and Ziva for tomorrow morning. The anonymous phone buzzed again. Markham's partner is a rookie. Name's Evans. Good kid. He's taking the lead tomorrow. An opening. We couldn't stop the system she had set in motion, so we had to let it play out on our stage. She thinks she's coming for our dogs tomorrow morning, I said, a desperate plan forming. She thinks we ran. We let her team walk into an empty house. She'll send the Shadow Guard goons in to finish the job before Animal Control clears the house. Lias grinned. So we give her a show. A live broadcast, community-wide, of her committing a home invasion. We spent the next hours preparing. We faked leaving town. I drove off, circled the block, and snuck back into the house, hiding in the reinforced crawl space under the back porch. Kaiser and Ziva lay beside me, waiting for the command. At 8:05 a.m., the Animal Control van pulled up. The nervous rookie, Evans, knocked, waited, and left. The bait was taken. 10 minutes later, a black sedan rolled down the street. Vivian Thorne's face was a mask of triumphant glee. She spoke into a radio, and two men, the same goons from the AM raid, emerged. They went straight for my backyard fence. Snap, snap, they slipped through. The pry bar came out. With a sickening crunch, the door jamb splintered. They were inside. Now, Elias, I commanded into my throat mic. Light them up. Showtime, he replied. Instantly, the entire backyard was bathed in the blinding glare of 4 industrial-grade floodlights. The two goons froze, shielding their eyes, disoriented. At the exact same moment, every phone in Beechwood Creek buzzed with an emergency alert. The link took them straight to a live video feed titled, Live Home Invasion at the Reed Residence. Kaiser. Ziva, halt! The two dogs shot out of the crawl space. They didn't attack. They executed a custom crowd control maneuver, circling the two stunned intruders. They didn't bark, didn't growl. They used their presence, their speed, and their control to force the men back into the center of the floodlit yard. It was a masterclass in K9 discipline. The whole neighborhood was watching on their phones, seeing two vicious monsters performing perfect, disciplined police work. Then, the final piece, the distant wail of sirens, converging on our quiet cul-de-sac. Vivian Thorne's sedan came peeling around the corner. She slammed on the brakes, her face a horrified canvas of disbelief as she saw her entire plan lying in smoking ruins, broadcast live for the entire world to see. An officer calmly walked over and motioned for her to get out. The trap had snapped shut. The aftermath was swift and decisive. With dozens of neighbors as witnesses and the multi-angle live stream, Vivian Thorne was arrested and charged with everything from breaking and entering and conspiracy to racketeering. The raid on the pristine pooch recovered 43 stolen working dogs. Ben Coe, the quiet CPA, worked directly with the prosecutors, detailing every cent she had stolen. The corrupt officer and vet were arrested. The beige cloud over Beechwood lifted overnight. Ben Coe was unanimously elected the new HOA president, his first act, repealing every single vindictive rule. Tonight, I'm sitting on my deck, stained that deep, rich, beautifully non-compliant redwood color. Kaiser and Ziva are snoozing at my feet, their bodies twitching in dreams of chasing squirrels, not criminals. I learned that a man will go as far as it takes to defend his own. But the real victory wasn't how we fought. It was what we built in the aftermath. We didn't just expose a criminal. We helped our neighbors find their voices again. We didn't just save our dogs. We restored a community. And as I watch the sun set, I know we are finally home. And this time, the peace is real. Have you ever dealt with a power-tripping HOA or a situation where you had to fight fire with fire? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think the judge should do with Vivian Thorne? Should she get max time for turning a community into a criminal enterprise? Hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of justice being served, sometimes on a sliver of beige-free land.